Welcome to Miller's Military Moments, where you will hear about my Master Sergeant Miller's funny, crazy, exciting, and sometimes even unbelievable moments that occurred during my 20 years of service as a soldier in the United States Army. Make sure to check out, follow, and like the socials that go along with the podcast so you can see photos, videos, and updates to the moments. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching Miller's Military Moments. Disclaimer, all views and opinions are mine and do not reflect the views and opinions of the United States Army or Department of Defense. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 1 of Miller's Military Moments. I am Master Sergeant Jason Miller, your host for the show, and thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. Today I want to introduce the show to you. I want to introduce myself to you, let you know a little bit about the show, myself, kind of how it's going to go, stuff like that. So Miller's Military Moments, it's really all about my experiences and stories over the last 20 years of my service in the Army. Some are funny, some are exciting, some are thrilling, some are sad, and some are even unbelievable. And when I mean unbelievable, I mean not like I'm flying upside down in the helicopter with machine gun bullets wrapped around my arm, engaging the enemy in the mountains of Afghanistan, and we all survived. That's not what I mean. Unbelievable in a lot of ways is going to be, especially for those of you that have not been in the Army and haven't experienced some of these things that we've done. When an investigating officer asks about an accident or something, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "Where's your PT belt?" That's what I mean about unbelievable. You're going to be like, what? There's no way they asked that or they did that. But I'm here to tell you that yes, they asked those things, and some crazy, unbelievable things like that have happened. So I'm going to share those things from my service and from my time in. I'm going to talk about some people. I will not release their names unless they give me permission to prior to, and tell some of the stories that they did and we saw and experienced together throughout our time. So that's kind of how the show's going to go, probably around a 20-minute show a week or so. And if you haven't already, check us out on Facebook and Instagram and even Twitter at Miller's Military Moments. And the focus really on that is I'm going to share pictures. I'm going to share pictures, and I'm going to share some videos, stuff that relate to the stories that I'm going to share with you all. So check us out there, and then you'll be able to keep up and see some visuals of some of these stories, from my time in the military. So a little bit about me, my background. So I am retiring Master Sergeant E8 from the United States Army after 20 years of service next year. 2 years before I came in the Army, I actually was a high school English teacher. And in July of 2001, I decided to join the Army. Well, actually, several months prior to that. July of 2001, I left for the Army. And then, of course, 6 weeks later, 9/11 happened and changed a lot of things. And we'll get into that through some of the stories. But I chose to be a Black Hawk helicopter crew chief / mechanic as my job specialty. I really wanted to be a crew chief, meaning I wanted to fly on the helicopter. So in the Black Hawks, you have a crew of 4, 2 pilots, 2 crew chiefs. And yes, the crew chiefs do man the guns on each side when we're in combat operations. So I wanted to be that crew chief. Didn't know that at the time there were units that, where you're just a maintainer, and not just a maintainer because they're very important, but units where you are a crew chief only when I came in. So anyway, I chose that job. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did do. I ended up being a Black Hawk crew chief and mechanic. I served in many different roles, from mechanic to crew chief to lots of different leadership positions once you kind of get promoted out of being a mechanic, a wrench turner, so to speak, or even a crew chief. As you get promoted, you kind of move away from those roles. But So a lot of my experiences and stories will, revolve around being a crew chief or mechanic or being a leader of those same people, and then generally being in Army aviation for 20 years. So some pretty exciting stories and exciting events. So really, one of the big things about this podcast and these stories is that it's more of a human interest story. So it's more of, me sharing like some of the things that we've done. And not every day. I'm definitely not going to describe what we do every day, but rather than it's not some of maybe what you've seen in the movies, about a certain battle or, certain wartime event, something like that. These is going to be more about some of the other stuff that we've done, some of the human interest stories that we've done throughout my time that are just not in the TV shows. They're not in the books. They're not, being told out there. Everybody, or it seems like people really want to hear and see the exciting combat, bombs going off, bullets flying everywhere, and all the heroic stuff. And look, hey, all that stuff is great. Don't get me wrong. People have done some amazing things out there, but there's also a different side of that. And over my 20 years, I've seen a lot of that different side. Now, I've seen some of that same stuff, but I'm gonna share a lot of the stuff from a different angle. And some of the stuff that's just happened to me every day, or something that I participated in. So some of these moments occurred during training. Some are going to be from combat operations. So I've been in Kuwait. I've served 2 years in Iraq. I've spent about 18 months, 2 different 9-month rotations in Afghanistan. I spent a year in the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. And then and I also participated in Operation Hurricane Katrina relief for 2 weeks down there when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans and southern Louisiana. So I spent some time down there. So there's these stories and these moments will come from all those different places, and some from the United States. I was stationed early part of my career, Fort Hood, Texas for 5 years, Fort Eustis, Virginia for 3 years, then moving on to the Sinai Peninsula, and then moving for a year, and then moving to Fort Riley, Kansas for 6 years before coming to Fort Bragg, where I am now, and finishing out my career and going to retire from here soon. So these stories and these moments will come from all of those types of those places. So some will be combat related. Some of the funny things will be in combat. I'm here to tell you, crew chiefs, mechanics, and I'm sure it applies to many other places, but aviation people in general are, they're funny. They pick on each other quite a bit, and they often do some silly things, maybe to break up the monotony, break up the stress. I don't know, but I've been around a lot of crazy, what I consider crazy people, but it's pretty funny and interesting, and I can't wait to share some of those stories. So, why am I sharing? Well, over time, I've shared a few of these stories here and there with people and other people, and it always says, man, you should write a book, or you should figure out a way to share these stories, or I can't wait to hear more. And as I'm closer to retirement and getting ready to transition out, I actually did start to write a book and start thinking about it, and felt like it was the right time to start sharing my experiences, my moments. I have so many pictures and videos too, and have so many great memories of just a lot of the people and places that I've been, even some really crappy places that I've been in instances, but the people made it amazing. And so I thought now is the time to share it all. And so that's the why behind why I'm sharing it. I want America to see and to hear about, everyday human interest things that we've did in the service. And some of them are pretty amazing. And some of these people are extraordinary, in my opinion. They are extraordinary people, and the things that they have done are just truly amazing. And I can't wait to share some of their stories with you. So that's kind of why. Now, why am I doing a podcast? I kind of mentioned a few minutes ago with the book, and I had kind of started a book and started going through that. And I've listened to a few podcasts, but I wasn't real familiar with how to make one or do one. And so anyway, some friends of mine mentioned it to me, said, hey, you should do a podcast instead of writing a book. So I said, well, I don't know. So I researched it, looked into it. Anyway, hey, I made a decision. I'm going to do a podcast, and here I am, right? So that's why I'm sharing. That's why I'm sharing on this, this medium. And hopefully y'all like it and enjoy it, and keep up with the social medias, and you'll find out about the new episodes. And again, I'm going to try to come out with a new story about every week, and but keep you updated on the socials on Miller's Military Moments on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can search for me there and find me there. So yeah, so that's kind of my background, and where I've come from as a teacher to the Army, and as Black Hawk helicopter crew chief mechanic, some of the overview of my the places I've been, and some of the things that I've done. And so we'll get into some more of the stories, and some more of the details as I get into the other episodes. And I'm, gonna not necessarily go in chronological order. So I may jump around a little bit from time to time. So I'm not going to start necessarily right at 2001 when I came in the Army, and there's maybe some boring stuff that happened, but we'll jump around to some interesting stories. And then what I also ask is, hey, get on those socials, and if you have questions, let me know your questions. If you have ideas or something you want me to expand on or talk about more, then hey, let me know. I don't know what you want or what you don't know, so don't be afraid to jump on there and let me know if you want to hear more about a story or a particular instance or something like that. So yeah, get on there and let me know. So there you go. That's an introduction to me. That's an introduction to the show, kind of how we're going to do it. And I tell you, I'm excited. I'm really excited to share some of these stories. I'm excited to share some of these moments, and I chuckle because some of them are truly funny, and things that just, happen while we're out at places, and we do some crazy things, and some people do some crazy things. And I'm excited to share it with you. I can't wait to get the first episode. And the first episode, well, actually, this is the first episode. So episode number 2 will be the first story, the first moment that I share with y'all. And the title of that one is Soccer Balls and Shoes. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it now. There will be some more information coming about that soon, and it should be ready in a week or so. But yeah, so get ready to come and hear about Miller's Military Moments and Soccer Balls and Shoes. And I can't wait to make the next episode for you. And everybody have a great day, and see you soon. Thanks everyone for listening and hanging out with me today on Miller's Military Moments. If you haven't already done so, let your friends and family know about this podcast and our socials. Follow me, like me, share me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Miller's Military Moments. Until next time, have fun, reach out, and make your part of the world a better place.